Dhyanamoolam Gurumurti Pujamulam Gurupadam Mantamulam Guruvakyam Mokshamulam Guru Kripa. Om Shri Guruve Namaha. Hari Om. That's right.
Hari Om.
Let me actually, I had desire to talk a little bit on the prayer. So let me put on a gallery view, everybody, and all of you kindly can turn on your video if you can, and also turn on your sound. So at least I want all of us to chant the first line. I will go with you word by word, okay? All right, good. And those of you cannot, don't worry about it. But at least sound-wise, if you can join, I will appreciate. And those who still cannot, for whatever limitation, but at least you try to chant. So the first line is Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyam Devaha. So let us chant word by word, and why I want you to do that, it is very, very important. So let's all of us recite Om Bhadram
Bhadram
Karnebhi Shrunuyam Devaha. All it means is just understand, first of all, I will go word by word. Om means Om, or O Divine. Om Bhadram. Bhadram meaning, as I explained, one which is auspicious, one which is divine blessed, one that can lead us to spiritual evolution and involution, one that can lead us to serenity, love, divinity, and all of those. So the word Bhadram, and I want you to, all of you to please remember that word. So Om Bhadram Karnebhi. Karnebhi means, Karna means ears, and Karnebhi means with my ears. So, O Divine, bless me so that with my ears I hear Bhadram only. All right? Are you with me? It's simple to understand. And
Yes.
this, I want you to contemplate over and over and over and over, and I would say 24 hours. This is part of the sadhana. It is not only it's not that there is some magic formula in Mandukya Upanishad. This is, every word is a formula. And the formula begins with this, Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyam Devaha. And as we, today, computer is not cooperating, but otherwise I wanted to go with you line by line. I had selected a very nice, slow chanting so all of us could understand. So would you, okay, you see here now, thank you, Joyce. So those of you can read Sanskrit is the first line. Those of you can, hello, could you see this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And those of you cannot, and this is the transliteration, the second line, Om, A-U-M. The next word is Bhadram. Bhadram word is so important. Karne Bihi means Karne Bihi means with my ears. Shrunu Yam. Shrunu Yam. Shrunu Yam meaning Shrunu word refers to hearing. So may we hear Devaha, O God, O divine. Okay? And
No, I didn't get the last part. The Srunayam. It's you were cutting out, so I didn't get that. Sorry.
okay, that Shrunuyam means may we hear.
Maybe here. Thank you.
Devaha, O divine, O God. O God, may we hear with our ears, Bhadram only. Okay? And we'll talk about the others, but at least, and I don't want to load you up with this whole prayer, but we want to see that this is the contemplation. Entire day, if you're listening to weather, if you're listening to, say, news, ask yourself, am I listening Bhadram? And this is what your 24 hours sadhana, your dedicated effort, because all of us would like to reach to the divine. All of us want to be realized. And what does it say or what does it do? It's so interesting because no matter which faith we go to, and even as of now, we know that a peaceful or a blissful state, our state, we don't have it, but we'll find it. We don't know when. Please pay, this is such an important point I'm bringing. So we do not have it, but all the scriptures of the world say you will find it. When and where, we don't know. And then they ask, if you ask, okay, where would I find it? There, somewhere. And there means where? Oh, in heaven. So naturally, your question will be, where is heaven? Okay? And at the same time, I'm not taking you away from your faith. Understand. And where the Mandukya Upanishad fits in, and how we want to understand Mandukya Upanishad. But Mandukya Upanishad says that it is here, it is now, and it is you, your own self. And that need to be understood. But then what prevents us from recognizing that we are not that state in right now? The very first line of the Shantipat says, may we hear Bhadram only. And are we really listening to Bhadram? Ask yourself. So what is really happening is we are creating a filter of our own self. As a result, we do not recognize ourselves as to who we are. We are Bhadram ourselves. But Since we do not hear Bhadra, since we do not see Bhadra, what do we expect? So in this case, in the Mandukya Upanishad, step by step it is taking us and it is giving us the information as to what are we doing, what is our life. So first of all, for the entire life, and none of us are any exception to this matter, and that is talk about the three phases of our life, three phases. And the first phase is we think we are awake. We think. And we're gathering everything outside of us. So that, with that, what are we really collecting the outside object? And let us, all of us, ask this question honestly. So when that thing is happening, we are collecting all the disturbances. And not only that, with that we are identifying ourselves. And what I mean by identifying ourselves, that if somebody asks you, who are you? You don't say, I'm a Bhadram. I can say I'm an engineer. Somebody can say I'm a doctor. Somebody can say I'm a lawyer. And that is all external identity. And when we say this is all external identity, that means that has been imposed upon you by you so that you never think that you are a divine. So during the daytime, that is the first father, the first chapter of everybody's life, you don't have choice other than fitting your life into any one of those three chapters. Either you are awake, or you are dreaming, or you are fast asleep, dreamless. So you do not have choice other than these three stages. And everybody would have loved that example of necklace, bangles, and the ring. But then what? Did we contemplate enough? What need to be the focus of contemplation is that while we are awake, even for a minute, let's ask ourselves, did we remind ourselves that I am a divine being? Just once even. Whole last week went by. And unless we remind at least ourselves, and the world, the divine itself, is Bhadram. So let me tell you, the path of spirituality is extremely simple, at the same time extremely difficult, because continuously we remind ourselves of the worldly matter. We cannot sit quietly. Every one of us love to meditate. Ask yourself, and this again, do not ask your partner or your friends, but just strictly yourself as to what are you doing? We are doing everything possible to remind ourselves that you are not a divine being. So what is sadhana? And that sadhana requires a lot of dedication, lot of switch of your life, lot of behavioral pattern, what you are exposed to. Yesterday, I heard an extremely good example. And that example, one very, very great master, when he was studying from his guru, and his guru was so strict, and he says, he said, during daytime, I will give you 2 lectures. And you have to have 100% focus. And next day, I'm going to ask you to repeat verbatim. In case you fail, I will kick you out of the ashram. Okay? So now, that strict was the guru, and so disciplined were the disciples. And so this one of the disciples who became world famous later, he once asked a question, very brilliant question. I will even repeat the question, and I don't want you to expect any answer from me right now. Okay? So his question was, so you say that there is consciousness, and consciousness in the purest form. And what we see, the world around us, these are impure version of it. Why did divine wanted to have impure consciousness? Understand his question. All right? And his guru did not answer this question. So the other student might have felt that either guru doesn't want to answer or he doesn't know. Okay? That's the type of person like me may think he doesn't know. Next day, guru, in the middle of his lecture, he says, Chris, get me water. Now, it's not that you go to the sink or to a water bottle and get the water. Water from River Ganges is a couple miles down. Okay? And the disciple gets up and brings the glass of water. He offers him the glass of water, does namaste, sir, here. And you should see his guru becoming furiously mad. What did you bring? And he says, sir, you requested me to bring the water. I requested you to bring water only. What did you bring? And then all of us will think, isn't it Guru stupid? How could you bring water without the glass? Okay? But then that disciple and the remaining disciple, they just close their eyes and says, oh divine, guide me out of my disbehavior. And after a few minutes, all of them touch Guru's feet and says, thank you. Now, some of us, we may wonder, what did he answer? He answered saying that the pure consciousness or the supreme being or the divinity itself cannot exist by itself. It has to have a container or manifestation. If you are not living, would you even think of divinity? If you are dead, would you think of divinity? So you need to have this body. or you need to have the surroundings to even think of the purest form of divinity. And that purest form of divinity, that is the gold that you need to look into anytime when you see the gold necklace, you see the gold bangle. How often we see the gold. These are containers, my dear friends. So anytime, anything that you see, look into the essence of it. Don't look at the bangle, don't look at the ring. At the same time, you look at it, but make sure you look at what? Gold. The seventh sloka that we talked about, the sloka and the beautiful colored picture slide that I prepare, that is easy to look at it and easy to understand. But what we need to grasp out of it, what we need to contemplate out of it, seek the answer as to what is it? What does it mean by the word Om Bhadram Karnebi Shrunuyam Deva? And I understand, all of us, we don't know Sanskrit, but having had the translation, and we study this prayer every Thursday, and I don't know how many Thursdays we spent, but are we contemplating just on the word Bhadram? And indirectly, we were also mentioned one of the beautiful stanza, and the word Bhadra comes, and that was Ano Bhadra Katavo Yantu Vishwataha. Don't worry about remembering the Sanskrit, but the translation I must have also mentioned. May noble thought come from all directions. Do you recall we have heard it once before that sentence? What are we really genuinely doing to hear this noble thought? Instead, only noble thought we hear is the corona. And how often we will hear it? This many death, and will it open or not open? People are wearing masks or not. Yeah, we need to hear it once, but every day, every hour. And is that Bhadram? Is that noble? And this is what we have to study ourselves. So the path of sadhana, dear friend, is not only a few asanas, pranayam, yoga nidra, or meditation. We think meditation is to observe silence for a few minutes. And then you say, oh yeah, I did meditation for half hour. Did it change anything in us? And I may not be reaching to everybody, but you all, my dear lovers, my dear friends, I love you. I love you. And I will keep on repeating this until my last breath. It is so important, dear friends, so important. Because otherwise, we can go join fitness center. We can eat all this healthy food. But the healthy food is not only the food to be put in mouth. We have 19 mouths that we have heard about. And out of those 19 mouths, and at the same time, even if we consider our mouth to be that key mouth, let us ask ourselves, did we put in our mouth the healthy stuff? So, Om Bhadram Karunebhi Shruyam Devaha. We'll be studying the further lines, and some point in time, as I think all of us, we remember the prayer that we do in our yoga class for last, I think, 1 month or so we have been doing it. Okay. So, and this prayer themselves should also inspire us. And even if we do not understand anything, the Om Purnamadaha, just that sentence alone says it. And it has been said that one of the very sincere devotee or a disciple of a guru had asked his master, "Sir, what can I do to uplift myself to enlightened state?" The guy says, Om is good enough. And when he says Om is good enough, meaning what? Om, which is the gold in awake state, dream state, and deep sleep state. So you be aware of all the time. And that's it. There's nothing much to be done. And then he says, in case if you cannot understand this, then you go to the Shanti part. Shanti part, Om Bhadram Karunevi, or Om Sahana Bhavatu. Those are Shanti part. And still, if you cannot understand this, then you go to Ishavasya Upanishad or Mandukya Upanishad. First, he would suggest Ishavasya, relatively simple. And still, if you cannot understand, then you go through all 108 Upanishads. This was Guru's answer. And we expect some divine to help us. But the divine, it just says in Mandukya Upanishad, Soyam Atma, that what I am, and that consciousness is my consciousness. And that also at the time of Ishavasya, 18th sloka, if you recall, we studied in that, he says, it is so much opulent, it is so much brilliant, it is so much light. Oh, divine, I cannot see you. Can you gather your rays? And after you gather your rays, allow me to find out that I am you. In other words, the same thing Mandukya is going to say. Soyam Atma. I am that. And what is that? That's a profound silence. And when you realize it, that all the displays that is happening in the wombs of the universe, You are that. You are that drop of water of the ocean of consciousness. So that time you realize you are that ocean. And you were looking for that ocean outside, searching, reading Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, Bible, Islamic Quran. Yes, read those. That will be some kind of guide. But then what? Om Bhadram Karnebi. Keep on reminding, dear friend, keep on reminding. It's not by just memorizing this prayer is going to help us. It may help us during our dharana state, during our contemplative state, so that our mind may not be going outside. You bring them together and then let every cell in your body vibrates that all I see is nothing but Bhadram. All I hear is nothing but Bhadram. Everything is Bhadram. So this example of gold bangles, necklace and ring is not just an example, dear friend. Anything that you see, good or bad, divinity is right in it. Or itself is the divine. What are you looking? Where divine is not. And that during the state of silence, this revelation will take place. And last time we made an attempt to understand the word reality. And once again, we can bring that example, which that example of necklace. The existence of the necklace is because of what? The gold. As soon as you take the gold out, do you think even the shape of the chain will remain on your neck? And that you start seeing it everywhere, everything around you. Then you can consider yourself to be a realized person. And that realization taking place where? In the heaven? Here. When? Sometime, somewhere? No, now. But it's not just intelligently realizing it, that I and Chris and Mehta are not different. Our shape is different. Shape is different because Mehta may look like a necklace, Chris may look like a bangle, and Sanaji may look like a ring. But all the three, not only three, but for the time being, all the three exist because of what? As soon as you take the gold out of it, do you think Mehta will look like a necklace? Chris will look like a bangle? And I will look like a ring? So that little example need to be contemplated, contemplated, contemplated. So the other people may think that, how come Chris looks today so sad? Are you okay, Chris? Okay. People will be asking Chris. On the contrary, Chris should be asking everybody else, are you okay? I'm okay because I'm thinking of gold. I'm not thinking of the bangles or the necklace. And that part is so important, dear friend. You can be meditating whole life, but so far as the word Bhadram hasn't struck you, you're missing something. You can be spending your whole life sitting in a church or a temple, memorizing and chanting the entire Bhagavad Gita and Mandukya Upanishad or Ishavasya. It may be a little better than doing anything else. I don't negate that. But the situation is this. So let me not go any further. I'm sorry, I'm running a little late. And hopefully either I fix it or Zoom people may fix the problem, and we'll continue next time. If anybody has any question pertaining to what I talked today, ask. Yes, go ahead. Unmute and talk. Unmute and talk. Okay, now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I got the meaning of the Om Bhadram Karne Sunyam Vivaha. Is it the O Divine? May we all hear, maybe hear divine bliss with my ears only.
That's right.
That's the right sentence in English.
But hold on. You say with my ears only. No. I hear divine only.
Only with my ears. Yeah. I made the right sentence, and yeah.
Yeah. I'm so happy to hear that. And so keep on reminding yourself, and you don't have to share with anybody else and say that Swamiji, did you think of divine today or not? Let Swamiji do what he wants to do. And in that light, we have heard spirituality is a singular journey. That's your journey. And you have to go to the heaven. You have to find out the heaven, and which is here and not anywhere else. Okay, Bindu?
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, Vijay.
Kind of you mentioned in the three phases of our life, in the awake state, you said we imagine. What all we see is the imagine, you said. How can it be imagining? That is what we see outside with our sensory organs, like we hear and we see things. I think they are all real. How can it be what you mentioned as imagine?
Okay.
That's my concern.
Did I use the word imagine? When you see a necklace, you see the necklace. You're not imagining a necklace. But what we don't see is that necklace is existing only because of the gold. If you take the gold out of the necklace, what remains?
Nothing.
Nothing. And that is exactly our life. So what you see is nothing wrong. The world is exactly. And that's what, with the Swami's example, I try to talk about, that without the container, you cannot bring the water.
Yes.
So, but we forget to see the water. I mean, Yeah, we forget to see the container. And with us, this is the container. But then we see container only.
Oh, only. Okay, that's the clarity. Okay.
And that's what, and that doesn't mean the container is anything wrong with it. It's not that the chain is wrong. No, chain is there. But the shape which you call chain cannot exist by itself. Moment you take the gold out of it.
Yes, okay.
Got it?
I
And
got it.
that was also explained many times, that what Upanishad is talking about reality is that never changes. Gold remains gold.
Yeah.
You can melt the gold from chain, from the necklace, and you can make into hearing. So you can call it a hearing, but still the gold is there.
Gold. Yes.
So in other words, today Swamiji is here, and tomorrow, if I Hari Om, then still it's my body which is dissolving, but the consciousness take another form. So that one that takes another form is divinity, is divine, is Ishar, okay, is Atman, is Brahman, whatever word you use. And that is, for that, you don't have to die to find out. Deeper state of contemplation. And what is that deeper state of deeper state of concentration? That during daytime, anything what you are doing, try to see what makes me see this, what makes me eat this, what makes me hear this, what or which, whatever word you want to use. So that's continuous contemplation, questioning. It's not your eyes that you see. Eyes are just the instrument. What makes you see? What is that power? What is that intelligence? What is that gold? Intelligently, we all understand. Yes, gold. But apply in the life. And as soon as you apply, let me give you little added attraction. As soon as you find out the shape exists because of the gold, and you fall in love with the gold, then what really happens? The shape becomes secondary, no matter how attractive it is. And when the shape becomes secondary, what really happens? Anything and everything happening to the body, secondary. That doesn't mean that the spiritual realized person will die someday, or they may be suffering from cancer, diabetes, broken bone, or anything. But they bring their awareness, from the body, from the necklace to the gold. That's it. So the ups and downs in the life, happiness, unhappiness, my wife did this, and my mother-in-law did this, and Corona did that, nothing matters. Because the awareness is not on the shape and glitter of the necklace. Awareness is only on the gold. Very good question, Vijay.
Soniji,
Yeah.
I made an observation. I know in Ishavasha, the 18th chapter, you say that the God, I mean, the divinity is so brilliant, and you want him to give the power to see him clearly. But when it comes to Mandukya Upanishad, you actually say, I want to only hear divinity. See there. So is that the main difference? Is that how they're different?
There is no difference. Okay, understand. And beautiful question though. When would you please let not make too much movement? So in Ishavasha, when it says kindly gather your race, it's a metaphor. If the sun is so bright, summer sun, how long could you look at the sun? So in other words, the display of the sun, which are the glittering showcase of the gold when you go to a jeweler shop, okay? You are not gonna understand the gold. You're going to understand, oh my God, this necklace is so pretty, I would like to have it. Oh, this bangle matching is so good. And with that, oh my God, this earring are so good. So this is the extra glitter. So Ishavasya says, would you guide my intelligence so that I could see gold only?
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
And at the time when we were studying Ishavasya, you were shown a slide of a car with a high beam. You are a driver, you know it. Anytime when the high beam car comes across you, your vision is blocked. So that doesn't mean that don't think of God. Just focus on one part. Use one mouth at a time out of 19. Excellent question. And I love those kind of questions because these are our confusion. We are so much surrounded by the different shapes so that we do not focus on goal. Anybody else? Are you okay, Meta? Good. Anybody else? Good. Mukesh haven't talked today at all. And my Kailash girl is smiling.
Absorbing.
I'm sorry.
Just taking it in.
Okay. Anyhow, if you do come across, contemplate on it. And with the example of the disciple and the guru, and the example of the glass of water, Guru gives the answer so beautifully, but that answer comes from the contemplation. He doesn't say, here is the answer, read. Bhadram means this, okay, go home now. No. Experience. Experience out of the necklace. What is Bhadram? What is gold? And for that, you cannot read Mandukya Upanishad 10 times and you're not going to find it. But whatever is kind of explained, You have to just surrender and say, "Oh divine, Prachodaya, Gayatri Mantra, lead me to you." And still you understand out of the example of water that the Guru asked for, he did not say that without container you cannot have the water. But when he said it in a high tone, everybody just closed their eyes and once again requested, "Oh divine, help me. Oh Guru, guide me." And then comes the guidance. It's not that the Guru mentioned that, hey, without the glass you cannot bring the water. So with this all, let us end with Om Purnamada. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. So, thank you all.